What's going on? I guess Star Wars Destiny fans. That feels really weird to say. Uh, yeah, so based on what you guys have said in the comments on the box opening, I decided to try my hand at recording some Star Wars Destiny matches. So we're here at Brew Wizards Cafe in Oshawa, Ontario. The I guess, newest venue that I've discovered to play at. I didn't know that it existed until recently, and found that there was a thriving Star Wars gaming community there. So they got a lot of X-Wing players and a lot of Star Wars Destiny players as well. So if you live in the East End of the city of Toronto, or you live in the Durham region, or anywhere near Oshawa, Ontario, feel free to come out to Brew Wizards and play with us on Mondays and Tuesdays. So this tournament here is a tournament that was set up hoping that the prize kit would show up on time. However, unfortunately, it did not show up last week, but we went ahead with the tournament anyways. And Brewers was kind enough to give out store credit and a couple packs to the winner. So this is round one. I am on the right, as you guys can imagine, by my mat, playing E.Phasma, Bala-Tik, and First Order Stormtrooper, facing off against Jamieson, who's running the ever popular E.Vader and Tusken Rader. So I've been having a lot of fun with this game as of late, as we roll off to see whose battlefield will be the one in play. I've been having a lot of fun with this game as of late. I just love how quick the game goes. The games have a very, very fast pace to them, but at the same time, you know, it's not all dependent on the dice rolls, which is what I thought in the beginning. It still does take a lot of skill on both players, or a lot of skill by both players, excuse me, to execute their game plan. As with any other card game, the dice, I find, just add to that a little bit more. You know, sometimes make you have to change up your decision on the fly for that round, but overall it's really great. So Jameson opens up with and you guys are gonna have to bear with me here. I'm doing my best. I think I know most of the cards now. He opens up with a Sith Holocron to my F11D rifle on Bala-Tik. And so another thing about this game is that the deck sizes being at 30 cards makes it so easy to build and change decks whenever you want to. I think I've played through 6 or 7 different decks already, and I've only bought the 1.5 boxes. And it's been, like I said, very, very fun. It's a very versatile game. And like, again, very, very quick in all aspects. So he activates Vader, which forces me to discard a card. I see a 3 melee, or is that 2 melee? The Holocron special and a blank. I'm going to activate Phasma here for 1 resource and 1 range damage. And I think I said in the box opening, I wasn't sure if I was going to, do commentary on these videos, because I thought it would be very difficult to see the faces on the die, but it seems pretty straightforward. So he throws that 3 melee at my Stormtrooper on the right. Poor guy. As I activate Bala here. And that is 1 focus and extreme glare. So I've got 1 focus, 1 ranged, 1 resource. And I believe that's another resource there to his blank Vader, as he uses the Sith Holocron special to bring in Force Throw. And I believe he pays the 1 resource here to immediately roll Force Throw into his dice pool. Which is a great decision. I mean, if he gets that Force Throw special off, that's really going to slow my deck down this round, knowing that he only has the Tusken Raider left to activate. So just gives him more options and the ability to mitigate what I'm able to do. So he does roll it in. He pays the 1 resource and hits a 1 range. So currently the only damage on the board is the 3 to my Stormtrooper, who has not been activated yet. I could Guardian to get rid of that 1 range damage, but I elect to play... Oh, to take money first, sorry, yeah. We were laughing about that. I screwed up. Anyways, so I take the 2 resources so that I can play the backup muscle next round versus guardianing that 1 range damage. And for any new players or people that don't play, Guardian just means you can activate a character and remove an opponent's die showing damage, and the character with Guardian takes that damage and then rolls his die into the pool. So there is backup muscle, which allows me to tap it in order to toss one unblockable damage over to one of his characters. And he follows up with a backup muscle as well. And just a side note, if there are any new players out there, or people just prefer to see an image of the card show up in the middle of the screen once a card is played to make it easier to reference, let me know and I'll do that in future videos, as I did when we first started out with Game of Thrones 2nd edition. So here's Bala-Tik focus being resolved to turn Phasma's die into a 2 ranged. Sitting on 2 shields on Bala, 1 resource, 3 damage on my Stormtrooper, now 4. And that's part of why I didn't really Guardian it. I knew he was just going to try to take out the Stormtrooper first based on what he was doing, as I roll another damage on the Stormtrooper. And so part of the reason why he was going for the Stormtrooper immediately was because Brew was actually having a competition. And there he goes, throwing another damage to the Stormtrooper off of his backup muscle. Brew Wizards was having a competition called Han Shoots First, and it was basically, in all of the tournament, whoever gets the first character kill would receive a prize. And so he was just trying to get rid of that Stormtrooper so he could claim the prize. But the table beside us had a turn 1 Grievous kill, or I guess Grievous died turn 1, which I think kind of affected Jamieson's strategy. And so I've sunk 4 damage into the Tusken Raider, just trying to get it out of there, as he has played the Sith Holocron on Vader again. So Vader is getting pretty hefty over there. So we move into the next round. He has claimed his Imperial Armory. And we go into the second round. He will have 2 resources to my 3. And you can see there, I pitched on the hunt to draw up some more cards. I was looking for holdout blasters or any other kind of guns just to get the damage rolling. As he activates Vader, forcing me to discard again, and rolls 2 big blanks, a focus, and 1 disrupt on Vader. Disrupt meaning he can resolve it to remove one of my resources. So that flank that I tossed was because of the Vader activation. I was still deciding what card to get rid of. And I drop in the... It's a rifle. Sorry, IQA. It's like IQA something blaster rifle. IQA blaster rifle. Can't remember if there's a number on that. Probably yes, but it's a great card if you can afford it. And he activates Tusken Raider with a 3 melee on it. So somebody's about to eat some damage here. I could, again, just Guardian it, make sure he doesn't throw that 3 at Phasma or at Bala. But let's see what my decision was here. And I'm still pretty new to the game. I've played a lot of games at Brew Wizards on each of the Star Wars nights, but you'll find I make some dumb decisions quite often. So I've got the special on the IQA blaster rifle, which I believe just deals 2 unblockable damage to a character. 1 resource on the F11D, so I'm just holding up a convenience store with my F11D rifle on Bala-Tik, the gang leader. And a nice, beautiful blank. So he spends a buck to chop my first order Stormtrooper to death. 7 damage total. He's out of there. He didn't even get to use his Guardian ability once. Poor guy. Poor guy. So backup muscle tossing the damage at the Tusken Raider. He has 5 on him. I believe Tusken Raider has a total of 8 health. So Gotta sink another 3 to get him out of play, and then I can just focus everything that I got into Vader. So here we go, dropping a buck. So he plays a buck to play the event, Feel Your Anger, and remove my IQA Blaster Rifle Special. And I dropped He Doesn't Like You, so I get rid of my blank to get rid of an opponent's, or get rid of one of your die to get rid of an opponent's die. I chose to drop my blank to get rid of his Force Throw, knowing that he could Holocron focus it into Force Throw's amazing special, or just, you know, disregard to reroll all of his dice. And I would rather not have to deal with Force Throw, so got rid of that. He rolls Vader again, another 3 melee, 1 shield, and still has the Sith Holocron focus. So resolving the F11D, we just robbed the corner store for a nice shiny dollar, or a space buck, as the guys at Brew say. And that Holocron has focused Vader into another 3 melee. So he's gonna chuck 6 damage at somebody's face here. Phasma's gonna throw 2 back though. So she takes the big 6. And my only option here is to throw 2 back with my 2 ranged. But basically, you're just thinking of any way here to kill that Tusken Raider so that you can pop off Bala-Tik's ability, which is when an opponent's character dies, ready Bala-Tik. So there we go, we throw the 2 in. So Bala-Tik gets readied, which means he can then be activated again, and you reroll all the dice associated with him that are not in your current dice pool. So it's a very swingy ability. Anytime you can get extra turns over your opponent in this game is a very, very good thing, as he hunkers down to gain the shield. So he taps hunker down, gains a shield. The only way for me to get hunker down off of him is if he removes it himself, or I deal melee damage, and there is no melee damage in my deck. So I claim the battlefield, which lets me play a upgrade from my hand at a reduced cost of 1 to get a jetpack out on Bala-Tik. And now he's split his damage, so he decides to throw the backup muscle at Bala-Tik versus E.Phasma. And I really expected him to just now focus one character, get rid of them, and deal with the other. I wasn't expecting him to start splitting damage. So his Tusken Raider is sitting at 7 out of 8 health. And Vader currently has no damage on him and a shield. To my Bala-Tik with 7 health remaining and 2 shields. And E.Phasma with 5 health remaining. So I'm first player playing Tactical Mastery. I spot a red character and it gives me 2 actions for this turn. So I'm hoping to roll Bala, find damage, throw the damage at the Tusken Raider, which would then let me re-ready Bala-Tik and go at him again next turn. And I didn't find it there. Well, I did see damage. I have the IQA. And so the issue here was that I was trying to get as many dice back as possible onto Bala. So if I would have just killed the Tusken Raider with the IQA, I would have only gotten 1 die back to roll versus getting 2 back. Jetpack is a really good one to get back, and so is Bala-Tik's character die. So I save the blaster rifle special to throw at Vader unless he's able to get rid of it somehow. Be it through a force throw for 0 or any other way to just remove a die outright. And Jamieson forgot to take his money, so he just took $2 there. So currently I'm in good shape, but Vader does have the most health in the game with 13 HP. And he's sitting on a lot of dice over there. That holocron could easily turn into, you know, like a Kylo Ren's lightsaber. But he chooses ambush, unpredictable, to force me to reroll my special, which rolls the special again, but it's still his turn because it was ambush. And he's activating Vader. Let's see what he gets. 2 disrupt, 1 range damage on force throw, a blank on his second character die, and a blank on the Sith holocron. Not good. And so now I think the smartest decision would be to throw that blaster rifle damage. But I don't. I electroshock the 2 disrupt. So electroshock just lets you remove an opponent's die that is showing a value of 2 or lower. And the reason why I did that is just to get rid of a character die. You know, even if he rerolls everything now, he's down 1 of his Vader dice. And so that's just less damage and less stuff for him to do back at me. And he's just deciding here, does he want to keep that 1 range that he has? He does. Rerolls another 2 disrupt. And that is the Sith holocron special, which is a very good special if you have upgrades in your hand. So Bala-Tik is getting activated for the 2nd time this turn. That is the jetpack special and $1. The jetpack special allows you to remove a melee die anywhere on the field and then give the attached character 1 shield. Even if you can't remove the melee die, it was ruled that you can still resolve the jetpack special just to give yourself a shield. And here he goes, gives Vader some force training. I believe he pays the $1 to get force training out into his dice pool, which is always a good idea if you can afford it. And is that 2? What is that? That looks like a modified melee. Does force training even have modified melee? I'm not sure, but that's what it looks like to me. Either way, he doesn't have any melee on the board. So Bala-Tik has now sniped Vader with the IQA blaster rifle. 2 unblockable damage, so he can't even use his shield to protect himself. Just takes it straight to the dome. So he's checking cards to re-roll everything. Or no, just to re-roll Vader's die, hoping for that melee, I assume. And he rolls the 2 disrupt for the 3rd time. And I jetpack his melee like I told you guys before and give myself a shield. And he drops another backup muscle. More free damage. So I use my backup muscle for another unblockable damage to Vader, which is great, just sneaking around that 1 shield that he has. As Jamieson goes for Bala again, trying to sneak through my 3 shields as well. So I can understand why he's doing that. And here comes E.Phasma with the blank and a discard 1 from his hand. So Game of Thrones players, that would be like an intrigue challenge. Netrunner players, that would be like net damage. And there's the hunker down to give Vader a second shield. And I toss my second copy of Jetpack to reroll everything, giving me a total of 3 range damage, the F11D Blaster Rifle Special, and a shield on Bala-Tik. F11D's Blaster Rifle Special allows me to deal 2 damage, but my opponent chooses how they distribute it. And considering he only has 1 character, that means Vader's going to take all of it. So 3 regular damage first to get rid of those shields, and also to make sure that he can't, dodge my 2 ranged die or kick them out somehow. And then Jamieson splits his damage again, goes for E.Phasma this time. As I deal another 2 to Vader with the F11D special. So pretty productive turn with 5 damage right there. And a shield to boot. So we'll see if he claims the battlefield or not. And he does. Has nothing to play with the claim of the battlefield, and I just shield E.Phasma. So as it stands, Vader is at 6 damage of 13. E.Phasma has 7 of 11. And Bala-Tik has 3 of 8. But as you can see, I'm pretty safe for now behind those shields, unless he starts finding some lightsabers which have specials that deal unblockable damage. So seeing as he claimed he is first player as we go into this round, and we'll see how he decides to open. So he spends a buck and upgrades force training to a lightsaber. As we said, lightsabers are capable of doing unblockable damage, and also increase the likelihood that Vader will start throwing out some melee here. And in comes Bala with what looks to be 4 range, 2 from each of his guns, and 1 focus and a blank. So Vader is staring down the barrels of two separate guns. So there's the hunker down for a free shield. As I throw in E.Phasma, just hoping for focus here, and instead receive a blank and a resource. So I had to drop a card again for Vader's activation. Such a good ability. Getting rid of my dodge because I know he's not doing any range damage except for force throw. And that is a force throw special, a lightsaber special, 3 melee, and 1 resource. Which is pretty scary because he could technically resolve both of those specials at once since they are the same symbol. And he would force throw one of my ranged die back at me. So picture Vader, using the force to take my gun and whip it at my head for 2 damage and getting rid of the die, and then also chopping me with a lightsaber for 2 unblockable damage. So I got to do something to get rid of those, or at least one of those specials. And on top of that, he does have the melee just sitting there waiting. So this is a very scary moment for me, trying to figure out what the heck I can do. As we just hear there are 7 minutes left in the round. So here's a tactical mastery, spotting my red character to give myself 2 actions. So first action is to focus the jetpack into some ranged and throw 7 damage, spending a buck, into Vader. So he needs one more hit. But unfortunately, E.Phasma will not be the one to give it to me with her blank in resource. It doesn't seem like much, but 13 health is just colossal in this game. So he does the big 3 to E.Phasma, leaving her at 10 of 11 health. One more damage and she's out of there. And the funny thing about this situation is, even if I take that dollar of mine off the board, that 1, he can force throw his own $1 at me. So again, imagine Vader just force throwing a crate of resources at my head for 1 damage. So I take mine off, give myself $1. I know E.Phasma's gonna die this round. It's just a matter of how he chooses to do it. Best way would be, as I said, to force throw his dollar and hit E.Phasma for 1, and then 2 unblockable damage from his lightsaber. Actually, never mind. I totally forgot that he had a backup muscle. I would still think the backup muscle would be best served on Bala-Tik, who has 3 shields. E.Phasma only had the 1. But then again, lightsaber is 2 unblockable. So he's probably right. That's probably the right play. So I claim the battlefield to have nothing to play with the battlefield ability. So Bala's taken 2 unblockable, which puts him up to 5 out of 8. And then we'll see the force throw play here. So he force throws a crate at Bala's head and takes his shield off. As we move into the next round, Vader only needs 1 more hit. And I know that I have another backup muscle floating the deck, so I toss 2 D8 17s, considering if I should hold this last card or just dig 5 cards deep and hope that I find backup muscle. Tossing holdout blaster, drawing 5 cards up. And now it's, can I deal 1 damage before he finds a way to either deal, 3 unblockable, which would be very easy, backup muscle and lightsaber special, or will he just deal a straight up 5? And there it is, backup muscle, which puts a super timer on Jamieson. He needs something that can activate and then throw damage in 1 turn. And I know he can't play Tactical Mastery because there are no red characters in his deck. Backup muscle. And he's just going over his options here to see what he can do. Decides to back up muscle Bala. So he's 6 of 8 and concedes. So very lucky on my part to be able to find that backup muscle and get it off before he could do anything. But overall, a good game on both of our parts. So thanks again for watching, and let me know if you guys enjoyed this so that I can continue with the Star Wars covers in the future. So everybody take care. Have a great night or day, whatever time it is when you're watching this. And as always, thank you for the support. Take it easy.